That snap is so instant. I'm loving the response of these. Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? EXO coming at you here. Hope you're feeling good, staying nice and busy. Things have been crazy over here, man. Been going through quite a lot, and it's hard talking about it sometimes. But, you know, we'll put that deep stuff aside for now and update you guys on some other fun stuff that's been going down. For starters, we've got the damaged door from the bass system completely replaced. Let's face it, the subs took this thing to the cleaners. Did way more damage than I thought just playing music. And the process to remedy the whole situation ended up costing like $6 million. God damn. Had to spread some of that spending over time, if you know what I'm saying. Took a little bit longer than I'd like, but the road to 168 ain't for the impatient, that's for sure. Every spot that broke on round 1 is now beefed up wicked for round 2. Couldn't just throw the kitchen sink at it though. There is a very specific series of steps to make this happen. After all, it's one thing to strengthen a door with steel, welds, Vibraflex, and structural foam, but it's another thing altogether doing that while maintaining factory components. It's just too easy to accidentally ruin something when adding this level of reinforcement. First step was actually finding a door, which sounds a lot easier than it was because good old Nissan decided to discontinue these vans back in 2021. So everything's expensive, yay. Spent a good week scouring the internet and junkyards only to find 0 black doors. Figures, right? Had to settle for a white door and still got price gouged for $750. And to make matters even better, the guy wouldn't ship, so I had to drive 9 hours to go get the dang thing. Fast forward to getting back home and she was ready to be transformed, man. Which, looky here, is exactly what we're doing to the driver's side. Clearing out a nice open space to work without damaging any valuable parts. It's all gotta go for now. Fortunately, this side went much better, not too bad, considering last time I ran into a loose and busted latch. Of course, keeping the tally going for a Nissan replacement was $120. Next up, these little fellas, rivet clips. Can't lay welds or pour foam with them nearby getting destroyed. So since the door gets jostled around quite a bit during this next process, I can't risk having foam pour through around the clips. Or worse yet, hardening them in place while being in the wrong position. Only way to avoid that, replace them entirely after the fact. Well, slap me senseless, just pulled off the driver's side door, and I am impressed. What the heck? She survived all right, honestly. Granted, the driver's side door was open when disaster struck last time, so of course it looks a little better, but we got her stripped down just like the donor door over here, and I can't find a reason to retire her. Look at it, looks all right to me. So of course we may have stripped this down a little prematurely, but hey, if I can save myself the cost of sandblasting and paint, I'll take it. So here's where the real fun starts, since we're at the same step as the white door: welding, welding, welding. By learning from prior damage, I marked out and drilled all the spots where extra welds would help hold things together. Every pinch, bracket, seam, and overlap. we are blasting through these welds. Obviously, some look a little bit better than others, but I'm happy with how it's coming out. I laid some extra thick beads around the nuts that hold the mounting hardware for the door panel. That way I can tap it out to slightly larger 5/16 when I'm done with this. But boy, I've made another mistake. What happened in that one? No matter what angle of the dangle I approach this at, I keep making the hole bigger no matter what I do. So let's go ahead and show you what to do with that, since anywhere you're working on a modern car, the sheet metal is so thin, so the stuff like this is bound to happen if you're doing this. So let's use a preset on our MP with the same 3/5 wire down to 20 gauge. I know, say it ain't so. How pathetic, right? That is thin. Let's go ahead and see if we can close up this hole on video and redeem myself. But I've already made a fool out of myself earlier. I thought I was far enough away. Man, I am a habitual offender, blowing lenses like it's not even funny. Look at that. That's from welding. I swear I thought I was zoomed in and far enough, but that stuff comes out pretty far, so looks like I'll go ahead and add that to the tally on the video. Alright, looks like that did just the trick. We plugged up the hole, a little bit of a wart there on the outside, but I'll take it with a little bit of grinding. Heck, you won't even be able to tell anything even happened right here. These are looking pretty nice, which wraps up all of the welds. That was quite a lot of work. We're into the wee hours of the night, freaking dark at 2 a.m. here, feeling good. But we gotta bring in the next step, which is pretty boring. I don't wanna have to waste too much of your time. So I'll basically just explain it and we'll show a little bit of it. It's grinding. Who wants to see grinding on video? But it's really important because this area which we added all the welds, yeah, well, it added strength, but it actually added size. We won't be able to fit the window trim back on, so we need to bring it back down nice and flat all the way around. Very carefully too, especially here, because if you grind down at the wrong angle, man, you're getting into areas that don't need to be removed, so it's gotta be a very slow, careful process. Let's go ahead and get that part underway. Some sparks flying. Now to reinforce around the latch, I simply cut out steel plate in the shape of the base inside, then welded that on the outside. That way, when force pulls outward from pressure, the chances of tear out and splintering are hopefully much, much less. With all the welding complete, it's officially time to start adding mass. Only problem? We've already got second skin installed. Dang it, look at all that deadener down there. I did remove the middle just as a test strip, but boy, in a perfect world, I'd have all this already stripped to bare metal. So it looks like we're gonna be removing this deadener here on video. Where's my torch at? Well, holy crap, guys. I'm telling you, it is too easy to underestimate this stuff. A sound deadener, at least removing it, is quite the task. It involves a lot of elbow grease. Had a little bit of residue there in the corner and got in there with some mineral spirits and nicked my cuticle like crazy. That's the name of the game, though. We are down to 0 residue, and I'm happy to say We are ready for the foam. To get the job done, 2-part expanding foam. This 16-pound stuff is no joke, hardens like a rock. Not like ordinary foam that can be broken apart by hand. This stuff is made for strength. The only downside is cost. At over $300 for 5 cubes of coverage. I know, it's crazy. You're looking at some serious dough, but it's worth its weight in gold once you see how thorough it really is. It adds a lot of weight very quickly. So me personally, I'm gonna do all of the most difficult pours first, the ones that require the most manhandling and lifting upside down while the liquid settles. We'll also cover any holes where leaks could happen just to prevent the foam from oozing out the wrong places. So let's stop yapping and get pouring, shall we? All right, looky here, we have breached the surface, edge to edge contact all the way up, bubbling serious. We got this whole column filled. It was a lot of pressure oozing out the edges, and right here where the seams meet the front, we had some casualties. I know, the whole idea of sandblasting and paint, no more saving money, gosh. Even though I did do a lot of taping, the pressure was so high that it just blows right through. So no matter how much prep I was trying to be responsible, you know me, a little bit of haphazard is the name of the game. So at least we can go at her a little bit more EXO style, getting messy, because there's nothing worse than trying to be clean while you're getting messy. So let's go ahead and throw some more foam at her. Okay, moving right along, we're several pours in now and already much stiffer. In fact, most of the annoying noises came from right about here and it's totally gone now. Beforehand, it was slapping like a madman. And to think that's just the hollow voids in this smaller portion, there's still plenty more left to do here. Next up, the flatter areas, the riskier bits, if you will. Here's when playing your cards right makes all the difference. I got to avoid important areas like mechanisms, wiring, window tracks, the whole 9 yards. Best off marking out all the valuable spots where foam would ruin something and using that as a hard boundary for applying by eye. The whole goal here is to basically encapsulate the stock cross members inside the foam. That way it'll harden like concrete between the two, making us a nice base head sandwich. Good for some strength. You know the drill though. Time to get messy again. all layered up with pour after pour of 16-pound foam. She is thick, ladies and gentlemen, almost 2 inches thick in some places. And the difference is wild too, coming from no treatment on the white door, all the way to what is now, I'd like to think, a fully reinforced, factory maintained behemoth door. Fingers crossed though, because at this level, close to a 68 out the gate, more extreme measures may inevitably come, it sucks to admit, but chasing damage gets old quick. Very time consuming and very expensive, as you can see. The current tally for both doors is at $3,290. But just like any project, the little things you don't expect add up too. For instance, ran out of welding wire, there's another 70 bucks. Then on the first door, sandblasting blew off all my seam sealer, and little did I know that crap was 75 bones. So as you can see, this project has been one pretty penny. Heck, even split up over the 4 months and being patient, it's still dang near $900 a month extra on top of everything. Oh, and as much as I keep my private life offline, there has been one big factor that plays into all this, and who knows, maybe sharing it can help someone else out in a similar spot. You see, back last summer was the big debut of my new build, and unlike most of its size, I drove over 800 miles for the maiden voyage. Pretty freaking cool. But by the time I got home, the front suspension was hating life, barely rebounding, man. I did upgrade to GP no sags, but after that day, the pressure started to buy myself a trailer. In my mind, I was thinking, you know, all the heavy hitters have tow rigs, so if I want to make shows across country, I gotta have a truck and trailer too, right? Well, when push came to shove, about a month into last summer, I ended up financing a 20-foot trailer and a Duramax dually. Holy smokes, it was not for the best. Regrettably, I let the pressures of keeping up with the Joneses stretch me way too thin. And in the first time in my adult life, I was living outside my means. Oh, it's hard to admit, and not a good recipe, right? But what's even worse, in the full year I owned the truck and trailer, I only towed my build twice. I know, it's stupid, but that was enough for me. I completely hated it each time. The extra responsibility and expense and risk of towing, I am not ready for that. So to save myself $1,000 a month, I swallowed my pride and took a step back, sold them both. And you know what? There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Even though deep down I could have let my ego convince me that certain material goods make you a top dog or a big dog. Nah, that's not it. The real heart goes way deeper. And if having something expensive jeopardizes everyday life, yeah, changes need to be made. And they were. Say hello to my solution to the problem, a 2014 4Runner. It's got tons of room, and I'll tell you what, downsizing never felt so good. Now, instead of dreading my truck and trailer payment, I'm saving a smooth $800 a month on this old girl. I will take it. And the lesson learned is, don't bite off more than you can chew, because it will bite you in the ass. All right, back to the build. We got the door beefed up. Now it is time to prep for a sandblast. And I know, guys, I just couldn't help it. I'm too messy of a worker. Either way, we need to add some tape over these holes so that blast media doesn't get into every crack known to man. No sense making our job harder, so tape she gets over the holes to protect. My local blaster lives about 30 minutes from here. Pretty cool guy too. I think his name is Double D. And last time, he got me taken care of by next day. Hopefully this time around it goes just as smooth and easy. Well, such a lovely drive out here, man. Won't be long now. Man, I wasn't kidding. That's why I leave it to the pros. Look at this beautiful, clean job. Man, that is better than I could ever ask for. Looking like $1 million.
Right? How the hell will that? Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Okay guys, back at the shop later on the night, just admiring this beautiful clean metal. Wicked pumped about this next step. We're wasting no time. Paint is coming. I got an appointment bright and early tomorrow morning to make this door look great. But before I go, I gotta make sure to remove all this tape. So let's waste no time and get her ready. There's the paint job all done. Freaking fantastic. Look at that finish. Real deal auto grade paint right there, folks. Nissan KH3. I think it looks great. Now fast forward here at the shop, it's time to get this door back on. However, we've got another big issue on our hands. The paint is not right. What I thought was dust at first pickup is actually the paint itself. Look at how hazy and speckly it is. What the heck? It almost appears rough like sandpaper and the reflections are all blurry. The first door they painted is all smooth and glossy, but for some reason, this one's more cloudy and really uneven. Luckily, Mako said they'd take care of me, but that means more time wasted, so I'm not waiting to install this door. It's going on today. Now, we've added some weight since last time, which makes mounting suck a little, but nothing a good old jack can't handle. To also prep for install, I added PL8X over all the seams and rivet points securing the window tracks. That way, both sides of the mounting feet get extra anchors against pulling out. Welding wasn't an option though. In fact, avoiding the high heat made sure to protect the felt liner from burning inside the rubber tracks. Let's get this side ready for speakers again. Here's the speakers I've been talking about for years, Ciare Neos. Take a look at these beauties. We got the 8s and the 6s, both matching Series NDs to pair with the tweeters I've been really loving, the CT440s. I'm telling you, the crowd has been really loving Ciare, so I'm looking forward to testing these. If you're looking for new speakers too, Showtime's got even more hidden gems landing every day. Currently, there's Americanos and tweeters ready to rock, but I'd really like to see the NDs hit stateside, man. Keep an eye on the Showtime site with code EXO, cause the drops are random. I'm also in the beginning stages of a whole new bass system for the wife, and all those goodies will be linked below with the same discount if you'd like. Should be pretty fun. What's not fun, however, resizing the 4 8-inch holes already in our door. The new 8s are bigger pretty much all around, which means we gotta take a power tool to this nice clean surface. Sounds scary, and it could be, depending how it's done. Here's what works best for me though. Plop. Fits like a glove. Just a quick buzz cut around the tape is all it takes. Heck yeah. Another upgrade I'm adding to all my beautiful ladies is quite something that should have been from day one. Some classic speaker grills. These are called thumb covers. Installing these bad boys will help protect from those pesky car keys and stray karate kicks. CustomSpeakerPods has like a million different styles, and looky here, they even custom made me an EXO version to stagger into my layout. That is just too cool. The speakers should be free from abuse now. Well, other than the abuse coming from the subs blasting. Let's mount them up. There she is, all the thumb covers and speakers installed. Ciare's definitely looking the part with them solid black dust caps. You don't see that very often. Adds a nice sleek touch if you ask me. Can't wait to play around with some new processor settings too. For casual volumes, I'll be dropping my high pass from like a $120 to a steep 100 Hertz. These 8s extend a bit lower. Then with the bigger 2-inch coils on the 6s, I'll probably have to balance those out again as well. Yes, sir, it's always fun trying out new gear, figuring out what works best, but boy, sometimes it's stressful. Now, what could that mean, right? Kinda complicated, and to be honest, this next conversation is the biggest reason I've been off YouTube lately. Fear. Stupid amounts of fear. Let me try to explain. Now, as long as I can remember, there's always been brand wars and friendly back and forth between competitors. It's a part of the game. But lately, man, holy, it's gotten pretty bad, where merely choosing a brand can cause people to cut ties, when otherwise all is fine and dandy, everyone's chill beforehand. But hey, you choose that alternator or those speakers, and all of a sudden, you're no good. And I see it constantly. It doesn't matter if you're new or what. There's this silly divide getting people clumped together with stuff no one signed up for. And if you've been here for even one video, you know that's not how I roll. You could have $5 tweets or the world's loudest rig. I'm treating you no different. Respect in, respect out. You like Nike? Great. You like Adidas? Fine. Just because I don't wear them doesn't mean I want to shun those who do. Heck, I'll talk to anybody, regardless of what's on their feed. So, you see how it sounds a little silly? To me, audio is no different. I could never imagine meeting someone in person, all happy, showing off their sound system, and just because they run a brand that I don't care for, I walk up all judgy, talking smack, maybe even make them feel stupid for choosing that way. Sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, that is online for you in a nutshell. People say the most off-the-wall stuff, and from the outside looking in as far as newcomers go, I've been told it makes this hobby pretty intimidating. I've been dealing with it my whole time doing bass, tried many brands over 20 years, and no matter the situation, each one had its own group of naysayers. But what's different is that back then it was actually kind of fun. A little healthy dose of back and forth, never really got personal. It's not until now that I'm noticing lately, people are aiming for the heart instead of being constructive about a brand or product. The trend seems to be tearing down people instead. What a strange change. Crazy to think a person can be all alone, playing with bass, smiling away, and without talking or doing anything to anybody could potentially cause others to suddenly dislike them. All over which amps they chose, which subs they chose, which brand was chosen. That is not me, man. So what does that mean in this context? Well, back in August at the XS Power Show, I ended up playing a little too hot on the voice coils. Long story short, about half of them started scratching pretty bad. It came from a bubble in the former, and at the time, I thought PSI was taking a break. Didn't want to make things harder on them. So that's when I really started to entertain the idea of getting new subwoofers. I know, crazy, right? Been running these same sound streams for like 17 years, but all of a sudden, there I was, shopping around for bigger and better subs. It was actually quite fun at first. There was a huge level of excitement browsing through the latest stuff. I started many conversations, had several test units sent over. I was on a roll there for a while, but the closer and closer it got to making a choice, the harder and harder it got. Unfortunately, what started as an enjoyable search with plenty of motivation quickly turned into a stressful search with none. I didn't want to choose. In fact, I was way too scared to even make a choice. Now, why? Instead of letting myself be happy, thinking about something that I'd really like to have, the whole situation became about other people's opinions. I'd stay up late at night thinking about choosing this brand or choosing that brand. And every time I'd get confident again, my enthusiasm would just disappear, thinking about all the BS some love to stir up. It was no good. 1 month turned to 2 months, and 2 turned to 3. I was mentally stuck, just not ready for the drama of choosing a new sub, as dumb as it sounds. Don't get me wrong, deep down, I'm still like a kid in a candy store thinking of all the possibilities to myself. But for now, I'm not sure if I'm ready for all the added stress from everyone else. And even saying that is a tad bit defeating. For me anyways, it's almost like giving in or losing the battle to the few who love to hate. But man, swapping subs is like the most drama-ridden topic of the century. I'd rather just avoid it for right now. After all, these 18s are still fine in their weight class, so as a last effort on my triple X's, I convinced PSI to do another round of recones. That's right, it's what we're used to. We'll gain some valuable SPL with these subs yet, then who knows what the future holds. But for now, it's time for dual ones from PSI, baby. I should have done that out the gate. If you look at the shape of this little area, it's kind of like a scoop. It is echoing so bad. I mean, it is a valley. I am very much impressed with these Ciares. That snap is so instant. I'm loving the response of these. Really snappy sound in these pods. I think I got just the next song. I'm gonna close this door up. It's called Hardwire, and there's this part right in the beginning right here that is just crazy. It's all mid-bass. Check it out. It's great for testing. Kind of goes like boom, 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 boom. That's all basically for mid-bass range. I really like this Hardwire song. I also like having the doors shut, especially with them now with that window up. So I'm gonna play around a little bit more up here on the hill by myself, just have some fun, maybe even tweak a couple settings with the laptop I brought here in the side compartment. But there we go, guys. We got another massive video under our belt. This took quite a lot of editing, and you wouldn't believe it. I had a computer crash, but that wasn't stopping me, let alone this that tried to stop me. All the frustrations of dealing with the subwoofers and all that. I'm trudging through. I'm never giving up. You know, it's kind of discouraging sometimes thinking about all the odds and ends that add up against you. But if you just focus on the positive and the stuff that's going for you, you can really avoid a lot of heartache and stress. And that's what this kind of video is about. Owning some of that, admitting to some things that maybe are a little hard to admit. We're taking steps forward. So I just wanted to bring you guys along for the personal little journey here and include some build stuff and do some testing and have some fun. We got plenty more left to do, but I gotta get myself right. And I think that's another reason why I needed a little bit of a break there on YouTube. Just kind of laid low for a little while and saved up while I did this $4,000 gig with both sides of the doors. Should be pretty good once the bass is turned on, but boy, I cannot wait for that day. I'm gonna be doing some big numbers here. I'm hoping for a 68 right out of the gate with the new dual ones. So hats off to PSI for always working with me in my madness. So, and thank you guys for always being patient and supporting and subscribing. It's been a lot of years being here, so it's cool to know all the OGs are still here. Until the next video, this is EXO. Signing out. We are new and improved and even stronger than before, and I think that encompasses this whole video. I'll talk to you guys on the next one. EXO signing out.